How did you teach yourself the craft of screenwriting?
Well, like everything else in my life, I just started doing it, and I look back on some of my earlier efforts and oh gosh, that's abysmal, Yeah, it's tough. I read a lot of books, read all the required Truby. I think the book that I enjoyed best was Dramatic Screenwriting by Lego Segre. And it's actually a book about playwriting, but I got a lot out of that book in terms of he has a thing that he calls static conflict, and a lot of stuff that I wrote had static conflict in it, and you have to have rising conflict, so the conflict's going to come out of your characters. But if that doesn't move, that conflict doesn't grow and complicate, then it's just, static conflict is, you say, oh, well, my script's got conflict in it. Yeah, well, it does, but the conflict isn't moving. So that was a very important lesson that I learned from that particular book on screenwriting, playwriting.
Were there parts then that you went back in and said, yes, there might be an argument scene here, but it's not moving the story forward? How can I?
You mean on a specific script that I?
For Lost Fair. Mm-hmm.
Oh, for Lost Fair.
So
I think I wrote Lost Fair more instinctually than, I think you kind of internalize the rules that you learn. And I will look at a script and I get to page 30 and I say, well, have I got to the first turning point? Or, I'll read 10 pages and say, do I know really what's going on here? Have I been set in motion? But I think when I'm writing myself, I try not to use those rules. I will come back and look at it after I've done the writing work. But I try to let the rules kind of like be part of the language that's working in the background rather than try to follow them as I'm writing, and I try to write from the heart as the process of actually putting the words down on paper, The other thing I find about writing is that I find the muse does not visit me until I'm in the act of typing. And, I can go on, it's fine, I can go on a hike and I can think about the characters and, but nothing creative really happens until I'm actually physically in the act of writing. That's just, I don't know if that's true for anybody else, but it's true for me.
So did you set times for yourselves? I mean, if she's sending you one draft or different notes or different things, is there a specific time you're working on it?
You mean time of day?
Yeah, like a time of day, place. Did you really have to hunker down and say, I need to be more disciplined because now this isn't just someone's script, it's also their life and their life story?
I don't know. I think writing is like painting for me. I get completely lost in it. So for me, there's not a particular time of day. I don't have to, some people like to write late at night because the internal edit gets smoothed out. I don't know whether it's because they've had a couple of drinks or not, but some people like to write then. But for me, there's no time of day, there's no place. It's completely, the energy and the love of the project is what drives me to it. So it's never a chore to come and sit down. It's, oh, where was I? It's like, for me, it's just an innate energy that happens,
Was there any pushback with you also being the director? So co-writer, producer, and now directing Lost Fair?
No, I think, it was a given. In other words, this whole project is coming together for me to make this movie. I'd had, in the previous 2 years, I'd had 3 projects that came to within 2 weeks of commencement of principal photography. only to have the financing pulled or to, you know, and when you're that close, you've already made the movie. You know, you've broken down the script, you've cast it, you know, you've done all this stuff, and so it's like a miscarriage. You know, I mean, it's so awful. And I decided I wasn't going to let this happen this next time. I was going to make my own movie, and Lost Fair was the perfect vehicle for it. You know.
Were there times where you would wake up in the middle of the night and say, am I really doing this? Or it was just, I know this is the right time for me, especially this new mindset I'm adopting, or whatever?
Yes, I think you wake up in a cold sweat, you know, am I really going to do this, you know? And even there was a time where it was the first day of shooting, and we were shooting some car sequences, and Alexis was in the front seat of the cab, and her mom came and said, where do we disable she's not going to get in the cab unless we disable the airbags, you know. And this is an older car, and you can't disable the airbags. So, you know, it would have taken a mechanic to come, you know. And if I said, okay, I'm not making the movie. So even on the first day of principal photography, there was a chance to pull back, you know, and not do it. But that didn't happen. So because when I finished the script, and I told Elliot Rosenblatt, my co-producer, how much I wanted to spend on the movie, or how much I could spend on the movie, he said, well, all right, I can make that stretch to 11 days. So I thought, 11 days? I've made some 18-day movies, and I thought that was about as fast as you could make a movie. So 11 days was, you know, when you're on that schedule, nothing can go wrong. So it really, I mean, the planning of it and how it works needs to be down to the 15-minute segment, you know. And, you know, so I was probably an ogre trying to get that done. So if I had pushback, it was probably because I was like so moving ahead and blindly moving ahead. Not blindly, but just focused on where we were going, you know.
Did you have to have a tutor on set?
Yes, yes.
So 13 days, tutor on set.
11 days.
11 days, I'm sorry, okay.
And tutor on the set, and we're making a road movie. So that means that, you know, we have car photography inside the cars, which is very time consuming. You know, normally you get a car and you put it on a process trailer, and then you light it, and then you've got certain angles, and then you tow the car. You know, I got these two Canon XE10s and suction cup mounts, and I just put them on the windows, and just said, okay, go driving and do the scene. So I never really got to see those car scenes, except when they came back, and usually I didn't have time to like rewind the footage, and I had to rely on the actors and say, did you get it? You know, yeah, we got it, you know. But I would have them do the scene maybe 3 times, so at least I had some choices with it, you know. So, yeah, pretty grueling, the schedule, you know.